Before the announcement of the launch of Helldivers 2 on Xbox, Christopher Dring wrote this article. The Xbox we knew is dead. His opinion, the failure of Xbox project comes at a price, and we're seeing that play out. I'm going to leave a link in the description to this opinion piece that he writes. Now, many of you know on this channel, I disagree vehemently with a lot of what Christopher Dring analyzes about Xbox. And I think this article, when you juxtapose it against the announcement of the launch of Helldivers 2, really makes things a lot, interesting at the end of the day. Now, I want to hear his perspective. This is what makes you get a good understanding of the gaming industry and the conversation around it, is that you have to listen to everybody's views. It's not always easy. You won't agree with their views, but you are obligated to hear their views. It's an unhappy day for video game industry. Xbox has laid off hundreds of employees across many of its studios, shut one down, the initiative, and canceled several projects. I'll begin by noting that Xbox isn't the only games company to have made multiple rounds of layoffs in recent years. Okay? And isn't the only one to close studios. Okay? Perfect Dark and Everwild, the two announced games that Xbox has canceled today, were troubled projects. Sometimes game development doesn't work out. And although Microsoft and Xbox may be delivering strong numbers, it's fiscally irresponsible to continue investing in things that aren't working, not just for shareholders, but for employees too. All of that is true. But what is also true is the last 10 years for Xbox has been defined by a persistent failure to deliver. Okay? Now, here's the thing. You've said that, okay, this is something that happens, right? But you are claiming that the last 10 years has been defined by persistent failure to deliver. On what grounds do you say so? Let's go ahead and keep reading. He writes, Xbox never did recover from that 2013 Xbox One launch when it lost ground to PlayStation and has continued to do so ever since. Based on what? In an effort to recover, the company embarked on a strategy that centered on a subscription service, Game Pass, with a new console that featured a higher and lower end variant, Xbox Series X and S. But it couldn't deliver the games. Huh? Halo Infinite and Starfield, two important tentpole releases, arrived late and failed to connect with fans. Huh? I'm confused. Starfield, I will admit, has mixed reactions. But that's basically a good amount of video games. Mixed reactions. Especially the fact that Bethesda already had to deal with its own fans from Fallout 76. I have to say, how do you not connect with fans, but somewhere, somehow, sell them so many copies of the game and continue to sell so many copies of the game that you make it into the top selling category in the year, for the year that you launched, and you launched basically towards year end? I didn't go anywhere. I'm letting you ponder that, because somebody might say, well, sales don't necessarily equal that, the game is good and blah, 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 blah. No, I'm just asking a question. I'm asking, how do you not connect with your own fans, right? Yet you're able to go ahead and sell this number of units for your game. Did you trick them? They didn't have a refund policy? Because they did here on Steam. A lot of them did. Does that make sense? Did they find something else 2 hours into the game? What could they not inform themselves? There was Mortismo Gaming did a 100% Starfield review that got a lot of views. He's an RPG player, so RPG players know where to get their information from. Where is he? Where's Mort? Where is he at? There he is. He's got a 100% Starfield review. He only does 100% reviews, and anyways. Okay, so it's not even a matter of, was information there? Did they trick somebody or whatever the heck it is? People knew going in. So I don't understand how this notion failed to connect with fans. He's got 1.4 million views on this particular video. This failed to connect with fans. Halo, what's the name? Infinite is also mixed. But these games did very well. Some of the studio leaders blamed ineffective and small marketing campaigns, which was a consequence of Game Pass eroding the margins on these first-party releases. Huh? But the games were also not quite good enough. That is a subjective opinion. You just said they didn't deliver games. Now you say the game failed to connect with fans and are not quite good enough. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you can't deliver hit games, then it counts for nothing. I don't understand. Do you mean if you can't deliver like, $200, $300 million budget games that are all over the place? Because for you saying that the game is not quite good enough, I've seen people say that some of my favorite PlayStation games aren't that good, that they're overhyped. Anyways, the Xbox project has failed, and as a result, Xbox is now a third-party publisher. I think Helldivers 2 announcement blows your entire article out of the water. Because PlayStation, for whatever other reasons you think they're a successful business, is also now a third-party publisher. Shall we now conclude that being a third-party publisher means that your business project has failed? No, Christopher Dring. It absolutely means that you're pivoting and basically ensuring that you can sustain your business. So, everyone's been living in their own bubble. It's either the PlayStation or the Xbox user has been living in a bubble and continue to enjoy what Xbox is providing, and you guys just are not aware about it or aware of it. And now you are pretty much in a very interesting position where you have to now go ahead and explain to us, one, with the console and subscription service, but a third-party publisher all the same. It is committed to hardware, but its partnership with Asus and Xbox and the Xbox handheld and the news of a Windows-focused feature for its platform suggests a different commitment to the one that we're used to. No, here you all go again, and that's why I made that video called Clarity. That video is there to highlight the fact that now that PlayStation is doing it, everyone is all of a sudden going to now receive clairvoyance, right? They are now permitted to receive, a sense as to what the business looks like. Because at first it wasn't approved. You were all supposed to be on this Xbox is in a very weird position framework. But now this whole thing has changed. In fact, it's wild because I saw a tweet from you, Christopher, where you're saying, oh, Helldivers is great. Everybody gets to try it and blah, blah, blah. But you did not write a missive to tell us that, oh, well, PlayStation is now a third-party publisher, one with a subscription service whose partnership with AMD, like you didn't hear Xbox announce its partnership with AMD, just as PlayStation's Mark Cerny and, Mama Sue, Lisa Sue, were talking about, their own partnership with PlayStation as well. Windows Focus feature on its platform? What? That would be the Xbox operating system. It's just also a Windows feature as well. You know this. Messaging this transition to its loyal and confused fans. No one's confused, man. Let me go ahead and let me just go ahead and stop this right here. I'm going to stop because I don't want to go, I don't want to go say something that's out of pocket. It's just been the biggest problem that I've faced lately in making my videos is being able to just go ahead and stick with analyzing stuff without losing or at least getting frustrated at some point. That's why I went ahead and made this particular video over here. Because the moment they announced Helldivers 2, everybody became clear as to, oh, look at this. Dirk Griggity, he's been on this, and he said, what did he say? He said, I'd be deadgummit. This is unbelievable. Nice move to get Helldivers 2 on Xbox. It's not the biggest install base. You see that? Do y'all see this? This is the kind of patronizing that Xbox gets. It's not the biggest install base. It's not the biggest install base. You see that? And it can be a struggle if you're not on Game Pass. What does Game Pass have to do with Helldivers 2? But it's a hyper-relevant audience for an online shooter like Helldivers. Should give the game a nice little boost. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you can't hide your bias. Somebody in the comments replied to you and said, But Xbox is dead, Chris. I don't understand. You said, who said that? You, literally yesterday. Then they pointed to this article to you, where you said, the Xbox we knew is dead. And you just cited that right now, they're basically a third party, but somewhere, somehow, you have not cited that PlayStation as a third party. Sir, I must submit to you that you are biased in your coverage of Xbox. You have an anti-Xbox bias. That's my conclusion. It's not a subjective opinion. I have literally just connected the dots that somewhere, somehow, Xbox users have been patronized by a lot of the so-called experts out here. Let me show you another tweet. I saw this tweet and I had to respond to this. I'm sorry. Reforge Gaming says, since launch, I have supported Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox because live service games live and die by the player funnel. I also said, however, it made very little business sense to me. I hope the Xbox player base proves me wrong. Helldivers 2 is a great game from a great studio. I replied, I said, in my honest opinion, I don't think the Xbox player base owes you anything. This is a community of gamers that's been ridiculed, talked down to, astroturfed in the online circles. Making, in quote, very little business sense is exactly the kind of ridicule Xbox player base has endured. That is what they've been dishing to Xbox gamers. That's making a lot of them lose confidence in the ecosystem that they bought into. And, you know, honestly, at this point, I almost think that this is a concerted effort of some kind. Look at Xbox gamers going out there saying, you know, I just don't feel like there's any need for me to be on Xbox anymore because they're now third party. The moment many of them are doing this, PlayStation is running to Xbox, and these people are saying it makes very little business sense. From whose perspective? Your perspective or from PlayStation's perspective? Nice little boost. Did y'all see that? Man said nice little boost. That has got to be the most patronizing thing I have heard. The most patronizing thing I have heard. Nice little boost. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is biased. And do you know why I say that? I say that it's biased because Helldivers 2 is going to Xbox because PlayStation needs a 1% margin increase or more on its operational margin. And that 1% of billions of dollars that it needs to push requires a lot of work and effort if they're going to stay with exclusivity on their console. But to make it happen, they have to get not just a nice little boost, but significant pieces of nice little boost, thereby accumulating into a significant chunky boost. But Christopher Drink, you also probably watched that investor meeting. I don't think you can deny that you are biased against Xbox, man. It's hard to do. It's hard to stay, neutral in this case. But yeah, your missive, the moment the layoffs were coming, already showed that many people were frothing to basically bite Xbox one more time. It's sad. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.